to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear me. Happy birthday to me.
Welcome back to the vlog. Before we get started, I have to say that my wife saw an ad for the Card Counter, the movie that just came out. And I saw it also, and I thought it might look interesting. So we went out to see it last night. And I just want to give you guys a little heads up. It is horrendous. Stay away, save $12, save 2 hours of your life. Do not go see this movie. It sucks. And well, that might be putting it mildly. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So if you were thinking about going to see it, don't do it. Walk into a brand new game at Capital Casino. There is a action player in seat 5. He has been playing basically every hand, raising every hand, showing his cards, telling people what he has, making strange bets, strange bluffs, and calling down extremely light. Sometimes just calling down with a high card. So it'll be nice to pick up some cards. So far, we've been extremely card dead, and then this particular hand happened. I'm in the big blind with what I thought was Jack-8 suited, but when I look back, I found it was offsuit. Person in middle position raises. He's a very active player in seat 5. Person on the button calls, and I decided to put in the call with my Jack-8 suited, which wasn't. Anyway, I check it over to the person in middle position. He fires again, like he has been for the last half hour. I call with second pair. He was mumbling about how he needs a 4 on his hand since the hand began.
Give me a 4.
So the only really hand I'm behind right now that he could possibly have, if he's telling the truth, is King 4. So I check it over to him again, and he says, oh, okay, well, I guess I still need a 4, and he bets out $20. And knowing that he's been telling the truth on all the hands he's spoken about so far, I decided, well, I'm just going to put them all in. He only has like $65 left. I tell him I have a jack, and he says, well, you might catch up, and he rolls over a king. I don't catch up, and I asked him to show the other card, and he shows the 4 of diamonds. So he was telling the truth, just ran into it. I've been completely card dead for the last 40 minutes. Haven't had anything worth playing. This is the closest thing I've got. I got ace jack. There was one limper in middle position. I raise to 20. It gets folded back to the limper, who folds his hand and says he doesn't want to be on YouTube, especially if he's going to beat me again. So I win this little teeny pot. It's the first one of the day. So seat 5 is still playing just about every hand. I just happen to pick up some tells on them, since when you play every hand, you get a lot of information. So I defend from the small blind with King 10 offsuit. The flop comes ace 3-3. I check it over to him. He fires again, and the other player in the hand ends up folding. So the tell I picked up on him is that he has complete air, so I call with my king high. And then the turn comes is a queen. I fired $20. My tell is still he has complete air, and he thinks about it and puts in the call. And I'm just hoping he doesn't make some sort of crazy pair and call me down. The river card is a 4 diamonds. It should be a complete bank, but with this player, who knows? I decided to bet a little bit big just to try to price him out. As I was assembling a bet, I saw another little tell, and then he has his cards halfway to the muck before I even complete my bet. I open for a raise with 6s. Apparently the player in seat 5 needed to slam his cards a few times and give it some more mojo. He's been losing quite a bit. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of the way he plays and telling everyone what his hands are. Anyway, he calls the 15, and so does the person on the button. So we're going to end up going 3 ways to a flop with $49 in the pot. This is the biggest hand I've seen so far today, and we're about an hour into the session. Hoping for something good, and the flop is pretty darn good. It comes 8-6-4, all clubs. So besides the flush draw being on board, I really love this flop. I decided to bet 20. I was surprised to see the player in middle position fold because he said he had bottom pair right before he did, and the player on the button calls. The turn card is a 2 of spades, really a complete blank. And here I think I make a mistake. I decided that I haven't been running good. I'm going to defend my hand, make sure they pay for any kind of draw they might have. But the person on the button is an aggressive player, and I feel that if I would have checked it to them, they probably would have bet with most of their hands, including just about all their bluffs, because this really doesn't look like it hits my range unless I have specifically a flush. Anyway, when I bid out 45, they go in the tank for a while and end up putting in the call. I'm really disappointed that I didn't check this because I think they would have fired. Later on, they said that they were thinking about just jamming at this point, and I kind of wish they would have because I was going to be snap calling with their style of play. So we go to see a river, and it is a queen of diamonds. At this point, I should probably just put out a really small bet, trying to get some value. But I decided to check it over just in case they want to bluff. They checked it back right away. I roll over my set, and they quickly muck.
Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time on my birthday to watch one of Doug's videos. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe. And if you want to share, you can do that. I'm okay with that.
This next hand isn't too exciting, but it was against a vlog supporter named David. He just moved to the area, and he ran into me down at Capitol. I race with King 9 suited. He defends from the button, and we see a flop of King Queen 8 rainbow. I decided to get a little sneaky and check it over to him. Top pair weak kicker is okay for me to check back heads up. Turn card comes as a 10. It makes the board a little bit more coordinated. I decided to put out a little delayed c-bet of $15. He thinks for a while and ends up mucking it. But I told him I'll put it in the vlog, and thanks for supporting the channel, and good luck to you. After 5 limpers come in, I raised to 21 from the small blind with King Queen. I figured to be best here. The undergun player puts in the jam for $35. Everyone else folds out, so I'm calling. $85 in the pot. We get to see a run out that comes 7-4-3 with 2 spades. Turn card is a 6 of clubs. River is a deuce of diamonds. Absolutely no help to me. He rolls over 7-8 offsuit. Gotta love the action. After being card dead for over 2 hours, I finally looked down at ace jack suited. Best hand I've seen today. There's a $6 straddle. 2 players limp. Player raises to 17. Player to my right calls a 17. Here I thought about squeezing for a while and finally just decided to put in the call. And I'm a little bit happy I did because the solid player in the straddle puts in the raise to 117. I don't think he'll be doing this with anything less than ace king or queens that are better. There's a chance he would do it with jacks or maybe ace queen, but not very likely. It gets folded back around to the initial raiser to put in the 17. They put in the call. I just have to get out of the way here. There's no way my ace jack is in the lead. Interesting table talk then pursues.
This way I can't be outplayed. It's all dark.
Love to be on his side. Yeah.
So with the way the stack sizes were, he was just going to put the other player all in no matter what. So he bets in the dark for 310. He put out 500, but they only have 310 behind. Flop comes jack, deuce, queen. You know, I would have flopped a pair, but I don't think I like it anyway. I mean, the only hand I'm beating here in his range is ace king specifically. So I don't mind my fold. The other player tanks for a long time and finally decides just to go ahead and gamble. And they flick in the chip, and we were going to go see a run out. As I said, they had $310 behind. The under the gun squeezer shows ace king of diamonds for a missed hand, and the other person called him down with jack 10 suited, so a pair of jacks takes down this $900 pot. Action is definitely picking up, and we are card dead. I'm in the hijack and look down at ace jack offsuit. It's folded to me. I decided to raise to 15. Only a conservative, straightforward player directly behind me puts in the call, and so we're going heads up with $34 in the pot to a flop of 6, 8, 10 with 2 clubs. Not a great flop for my particular hand, But on the range of hands I put my opponent, I think a $20 bet will get him to fold out most of his overcards, like ace king, ace queen, king queen, maybe ace jack or queen jack. He decides to put in the call, but the way he did makes me feel like he was just making a crying call and that he would probably give up with any pressure. I decided to put in a big bet with any blank, and the 3 of hearts is a perfect card to do that with. So I go 2/3 pot, and I figured this would fold out just about all his, I don't know, non-premium hands, I would say. So if he doesn't have top pair or better in this spot, I think he's folding. Unless he has like a super big draw, I expect him to fold the majority of his hands. As I said, he's fairly straightforward. If he had something good, I think I would have heard about it by now. He thinks for a while and lets it go. The hand immediately after that last one, we look down at Queen 10 of clubs and the low jack. There is a limper, and we decide to raise to 15. We end up getting 4 callers, one from the player behind me, one from the button, one from the big blind, and one from the limper. So we're going to go 5 ways to a flop with $79 in the pot. And the flop comes 6-8-3. Complete garbage. We do have a backdoor flush draw and maybe some sort of backdoor straight draw. When checked to me, I'm just going to check this and give up. Any kind of bet, I'm getting out of there. It is getting checked around. So I'm dreaming of a 9 of clubs, but we get the second best card. We get the jack of clubs. So we pick up a straight draw and a flush draw. The big blind now leads for $40. Interesting size bet. Could be something as simple as 1 pair. It could be something like maybe he has 2 pair. Maybe he slow played a set. But for $40, I'm getting a pretty good price to draw at my hand, and I put in the call. The player directly behind me, who was the same player in that last hand, he checked back to flop after I checked to him, but now he decides to go all in. I'm really thinking his hand is something like ace jack, king jack. I mean, that makes complete sense. He's decided to go with his hand. He has top pair, decent kicker. Why not? So he makes it 146, so it's 106 more. The player in the big blind makes a quick call. I think if he had a set or even 2 pair, he probably would have raised to isolate him. So I'm thinking he's more inclined to be with a drawing hand. Now, it might be clubs. He might have a better flush draw than I do. So I have to be a little bit wary, but for that price, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'm getting 5-1 on my call. I stick the money in. We got 517 in the pot, and we have a dry side pot between me and the big blind. We see a river card of a club, but it's an 8 of club, pairs the board. So I would have rather seen a 9 personally, but I guess I got to be happy with making my flush. That's what I was drawing for, and that's what I was playing for. Big blind now bets out $200. And I don't think this is a bluff at all. I think he's just doing this for pure value. So the question is, does he have a full house? Does he have a flush? How big of a full house? How big of a flush? So I'm thinking that full house is probably out. As I said, he probably would have raised with 2 pair or a set. So now I'm going through all the possible flush draws. All the small flush draws, he would have some sort of open-end straight draw or double gutter. Say 7-9 of clubs, he would have flopped an open-ender. 7-5 of clubs, he would have flopped an open-ender. 4-5 of clubs, he would have flopped an open-ender. So a lot of his likely hands that I beat, he probably would have flopped an open-ender and bet. So I'm thinking that he just might have some sort of ace or king high flush. So I decided not to jam. I was really close to it. I know it was only $100, but I felt that he had more flushes with ace high or king high than he did with lower cards. He does end up showing 5-4 of clubs, so he had one of those open-ended draws on the flop that he decided not to bet. Lucky for us, we would have never got there if he did. We ended up taking down this nice pot, played for another half hour or so, and never picked up any more hands worth noting. It was a difficult day having many mediocre hands, no premium cards, but we still managed to squeeze out a little win with a little luck of a flush on the end. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate your support. Good luck at the tables, and we'll see you next time.